Welcome everybody to Leadership Speak. I'm really excited to see everybody at the meeting today. This morning, I am your Sergeant at Arms. My name is Peggy Onlock, and I am currently in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's really nice to see smiling faces from around the world. If people could turn their audio off if they're not speaking, that would be wonderful, so we don't disrupt any of the speakers. And you all know where your facilities are, so I'm not going to go into that at all. I would like to turn the meeting control over to our wonderful Toastmaster of the day today, Hannah Schmidt. So take it away, Hannah.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Sergeant at Arms. It will be my pleasure to lead you through today's meeting. The theme, leading in a time of uncertainty. Thank you, Fursey. Very good team. Is very relevant and to the point nowadays. Sonali de Silva says, in good times, leaders are the lighthouse, but in uncertainty, true leaders become the anchor. Sonali's words have such powerful and intense impact on our society today. We indeed need leaders and leadership to steer our ship through the stormy seas. Mind you, some leaders must first learn how to lead themselves. When facing storms, well, it can lead to disaster. And they only function as the lighthouse. Whereas true leaders reach out to you, embrace the discomfort, and support you and become your anchor. Ladies and gentlemen, to steer our ship to safe shores, today I have the following Toastmasters on board with me. First of all, Hannah, to raise the toast. Exploring the unknown requires tolerating uncertainty. I used to be scared of the uncertainty, but now I know how to navigate it, and knowledge is an unending adventure in the end of uncertainty. Here's to gain certainty to avoid uncertainty. Cheers to everybody. My next man on the boat, on my boat, will be my grammarian, but who will see to it that we use the correct language, not the language used on the boats, and will give us the word of the day. Please explain your role, Bud.
Thank you, Hannah. The role of the grammarian is to watch for good and sometimes not so good uses of the English language, excuse me, and to provide a word of the day. Today, I elected to use the word illuminate. Yes, I've elected to use the word illuminate. And illuminate, as you can see on the screen behind me here, is to make something visible or bright by shining a light on it. To light up, a flash of lightning illuminated the house. But there is another meaning which is more metaphorical, and that is to shed light on a subject or a person. For example, Hannah illuminated our understanding of leading in a time of uncertainty. So I'm going to be watching for the use of the word of the day. So if you do use that, I'd ask people around to help me remember to note that down by just giving the jazz hands if you hear somebody use illuminate. And I'll turn the meeting now back to Hannah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And please use the word whenever you can in your speeches, in your evaluations, whatever. My next person on my ship is my timer, Mary Lou, who will illuminate the screen for you to take the time and for us to reach the shore on time. Please, Mary Lou, explain your role.
Thank you, Hannah. As a timer, I keep track of the speakers and the evaluators for the meeting, and leadership speak by Fursey. My times will be 20 at green, 30 at yellow, and 35 at red. The rest of the speakers will be green at 5, yellow at 6, and red at 7. The evaluators, Brahm will have 3 to 5 minutes, at which you'll have 3 at green, 4 at yellow, and 5 at red. And all other evaluators will have 2 to 3 minutes. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Madam Timer, for illuminating that screen with green, amber, and red. It now gives me great pleasure in introducing to you our even greater speaker. Fursey is a Toastmaster for just 4 years, and he has reached the semi-finals in the World Championship of Public Speaking in 2020. And in August 2021, he earned District 25's Toastmaster Year of the Award. And just a few weeks ago, he won the District 85 Table Topics and International Speech Contest. In August this year, just around the corner, next month, he will represent Region 14 in the as a semi-finalist in the World Championship of Public Speaking. We hold thumbs for you, Percy. Please put your hands together in welcoming Fursey. Leading in a time of uncertainty. Leading in a time of uncertainty, Fursey.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hannah. If I could ask all our panelists, our 4 panelists, would you go ahead and put up your electronic hands, raise your electronic hands, and that will put you up in the top corner for all of our members to see, and we'll keep you there for the duration if that's all right. Thank you so much. Excellent. Look how good they are. My gosh, it would have taken me 10 minutes to figure that one out. Great job. We have for you this evening, ladies and gentlemen, 4 magnificent leaders in their own right, each coming from a different field and discipline, each coming from a different part of the world. Patrick came all the way from Texas. And I said, Patrick, you don't have to do that. We're online. But there he is in Hong Kong. So we're going to accept him just as he is before he goes out and gets some dim sum. All right, moving forward. We want to explore leadership. Leadership in different phases of our life, leadership in different manifestations. I'm going to ask each of them to introduce themselves as they wish to introduce themselves and to give us a brief definition of what they think leadership is. Each one will have 60 seconds. After this first part, we will then go into some questions that I have prepared for them. We might have 1, we might have 2, we might even have 3 answer the same question so that we can get different perspectives on the same question. Peppered throughout that, I will also ask each individual leader, panelist, a specific question that is geared just for them because of their background and their discipline. I've also promised them 1 surprise question along the way. If any of our members would like to ask a question of our panelists, would you go ahead and put it in the chat and we will see if we have time for that. Moving forward, let's go to the brief 60-second bio. Tell us about yourself and what leadership means to you. I'm going to start with Wickham, who is coming to us from District 85 in Shanghai. Wickham?
Hello, everyone. Great to be here. Vikum from Shanghai District 85. My full name is Vikum Hettiarachis, unpronounceable name from Sri Lanka. And leadership is, my thinking is about ability to listen, whole, large group of people than particular few people or anyone. So that is the leadership for me. So that's what I learned, and I'm going to share the leadership, what I learned. And nice to be with all of you today.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Wickham. Moving forward, we're going to move to Patrick Smith, coming to us from his hotel room in Hong Kong. Patrick Smith, for those that don't know, is not a Toastmaster, but he's always wanted to be a Toastmaster, and he is head of human resources and has just been moved up, and he's in Fort Worth Independent School District in Texas. Patrick?
Thank you, Fursey. That delay is due to my brain catching up with the 55 hours I just spent coming to Hong Kong. But good evening, Toastmasters. It's great to be part of this discussion. You know, for me, leadership in my journey as a 31-year educator, finishing 31 years this August, means supporting my teammates and helping us get to farther achievement than we would individually. So I'm a firm believer in collaborative leadership, but also as a former school principal and in my roles in central office as an administrator, to not get in the way and create encumbrances which reduce their opportunities for success, provide them resources and guidance, and then let people do their work, participate in the celebrations. And then when we have failures or we don't meet the mark, then reflect together and build processes and strategies that will propel us to the next level of performance.
Fantastic. Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that. We've talked about now listening. We've talked about collaboration. I shall move to Toastmaster Gladys. Gladys, would you go ahead and introduce yourself to the group and tell us what leadership means to you? 60 seconds.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, team from China. I'm coming to you from the coastal town of Mombasa, Kenya. I am here with a group of district leaders. My role in the world is to create dynamic teams that deliver solutions, and that's my definition of leadership. Leadership is influence through dynamic teams, and we illuminate the world by creating solutions that work. Back to you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gladys. And thank you for taking the time out of the conference to be with us. Great work that you're doing there in Kenya. To our fourth panelist, a gentleman that I've met through our meetings online, coming to us from Bangalore, India. Dr. Naga was trained as an anesthesiologist and now runs the hospital. He is the Chief Operating Officer and Director of the hospital. Dr. Naga, tell us a little bit about yourself and what does leadership mean to you?
Hi, friends. It's wonderful to be with you all today. Thank you, Mr. Fursey, for making this happen for us. I am a combination of a doctor, a soldier, a teacher, an administrator, a social worker, rolled into one. So as he told, I had a hospital, I had a corporate hospital, and every day it's in the thick of operations, right? Now, even though I am basically an anesthesiologist, now I moved on to be the head of the hospital. So I am fully into management. What does the leadership means to me? Leadership means to standing up to the occasion, wherever it happens, whatever happens, standing up and making a difference in that situation and giving a solution to the challenges which we face. So leadership is a dynamic situation. It's a dynamic thing, and it is not a static, definable word. It can be different in different situations, but always the effort which we make with sincerity, that is what is leadership all about to me. The result is not in our hands, but yes, the attempting to solve a solution, solve an issue is in our hands. So that's the leadership for me.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Naga. Thank you for being with us here today. Moving to our round of questions. You will have 60 to 90 seconds, panelists. I'll ask 2, maybe 3 of you this same question. And so the first person I'm going to go to is going to Gladys. Gladys, what's the hardest lesson about leadership you have ever had to learn? What is the hardest lesson about leadership that you have ever had to learn?
There are a lot of lessons in leadership that you learn, especially when you begin to apply the skills outside of Toastmasters into the world. But the greatest lesson is that conflict is real. And the learning about conflict is real means that you will face it, whether you like it or not. The thing is to separate the issue with the person. When you put the issue on the table, 2 or 3 different people can dissect it and come to a conclusion. But when you put your feelings and what you think about that person, then the issue takes a 3rd dimension, which means you'll not be able to resolve the person against the issue. So what I've learned is to separate the 3 people, the person with the 2 people with the conflict and the issue in the middle. And you're able to get a consensus, either to agree or to disagree. And finally, it is okay to disagree. It is a way of going forward, but don't keep the issue unresolved. Back to you, moderator.
Wow, I really am glad we are filming this because there's a lot of little nuggets in there, all of which I'm going to go back, take, and absorb and digest. Thank you, Gladys. Wickham, second panelist, what was the hardest lesson about leadership you have ever had to learn?
Hardest lesson, I would say it's sometimes giving a clarity of values. We, as a group, we trust to every individual. That is the hardest lesson sometimes we always face. I've came situations in Toastmasters as well as corporate, as well as in outside the Toastmasters and other organizations. Sometimes we get the people in our teams and individuals joining us, but they have their objectives and targets or KPIs, sometimes those kind of things they want to measure in there. But when it comes to introduce them values and purpose of these organization around what we really want them to practice, that will be the hardest of thing. So look at Toastmasters, we cherish 4 values. And Toastmaster International, last month, they've put these values into our meetings. They took almost 100 years to figure out this. How to put values into our meeting rooms, how to interpret that. That's a hard game. You need centuries to do that. Human had decided all these important topics, all these values, they debated thousands of
Wickham?
years.
We,
So that is the most hardest values.
Values. Thank you, Wickham. It just sort of cut out there a little bit. Wickham, I consider to be a mentor. He is with District 85. He is a consultant for their leadership team. He was leading their LEAD lead program for at least 1 year, if not there, behind the scenes. Amazing leader within our district. And as Brahm has mentioned before, one of the fastest growing districts in all of Toastmasters. And Wickham is part of the reason why we are churning out leaders left foot over right foot. A fantastic individual. You ought to see him work with a group of people. Patrick Smith, I'm going to toss this question over to you as well. What's the hardest lesson about leadership that you have ever had to learn?
Well, thanks, Fursey. I will say that the phrase yield to the wisdom of those you lead sooner rather than later. And for me, what that means, I'm very action oriented. There's a nickname around the circles I've been involved with. They call me Trigger, because I'll just go without getting, sufficient stakeholder input sometimes, since I see a path. A lot of us who have that leadership gene, we know where we want to go or where we want to take, push, pull, carry the people with us. And it was illuminating for me after, one series of issues we were dealing with and a teammate that we have this confrontational collaboration. It's very intense. And she just looked at me and said, "You don't get it." And I said, "Actually, now I get it. And what I get is I'm taking too long to get it." And so just creating that space of trust so that people can come and tell you and say, "I know what you're trying to do, but this is not the way to do it." Or I know where you want to go, but I don't think we're ready to get there yet. So having the compassion and passion to listen to others' ideas and how they can help the team propel forward faster and better without having missteps, mistakes, and hitting landmines.
Excellent. Thank you, Patrick Smith. Nice. Yield to the wisdom of those you lead sooner rather than later. I'm taking that one under my belt as well. My next question goes to you, Dr. Naga, and you're going to start the next round of different questions. You operate, didn't quite mean to use that bad pun, but you operate in the field of medicine.
Yes.
How do you earn trust? How do you earn trust?
Yeah, a nice question, Mr. Fursey. See, in healthcare, the trust is the most critical and important factor, whether it's with the patients' families, or the doctors, the nurses, everybody in the chain. So what I have realized is, be the example, set an example, set a standard, and live up to that standard yourself. Once we live up to that standards, automatically people will follow that. For example, the clinicians, and if you see in these various people, type of people, clinician and nurse, the paramedic worker, administrator, they all come with a different types of mindset. What works for one doesn't work for other. Sometimes you have to be very street smart, and you have to see to that you develop that trust. So one common factor is feedback, continuous feedback and follow up. That enables the trust to develop. So what I have coined some words which I keep practicing is, for everything, check, recheck and counter check. Check, recheck and counter check. Any activity you do, like you're told to exercise, convey some message to the clinician, ensure that he has received it properly in the correct manner. So counter check it, whether it is right or not, so that is one aspect. Then feedback and follow, just telling or putting some standards or putting some word doesn't help. Sorry, you have to have a feedback and follow up. So to summarize, I will say that to develop the trust, it is not a one-day affair or 1 minute, one-time affair. It develops over a period of time. There are certain people whom you will be meeting regularly in your workplace, and certain people are moving population. So if the person, when we first of all listen to them first, everybody comes with a problem. Once we listen to them and give a patient hearing, that develops the trust in the person who is listening to us. Then from there we build it upon, and it carries on. And then we have to stand by the people at crucial junctions where they are facing a problem. Like in the emergency, the doctor in the emergency will face a serious issue. So we have to, they should know that yes, behind him, we are there to support him. So that kind of feeling should be there, inculcated to them, into them. So that is how the trust develops.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Naga. Check, recheck, counter check. Nice. I'm incorporating that into my vocabulary. Gladys Muhuño, I know you operate in a whole other way. You don't operate the way Dr. Naga does. How do you earn trust?
There are 3 dimensions to earning trust. The first is the 2 people that you are dealing with, 2 or 3 people that you are dealing with. Are they at the same level? Are they coming from a place where they understand what is on the table for them to do it? The second is the issue that you are being asked to be trusted on. Before you come to that issue, you need to have invested in the relationship of the people you're dealing with, and you invest it through service, commitment, and being available. Before I come to Fursey asked me for this, he must have invested time by speaking at my club in East Africa. Now I feel I owe him. So you must have invested in that relationship. And the third level of trust is the impact. Two people could be doing something, but the impact is a totally different person. If the impact has a repercussion on you, then your trust is broken. So you invest in the relationship, invest in the people that you are working with in advance of what you need to lead them, and help create an impact around them. If you serve me well and I'm feeling happy, you'll impact my children. So don't always feel that the issue ends where the table is. Trust is earned by making sure you invest in the relationship that you're dealing with through service, commitment, and availability. Look at the people who are dealing with that issue. Are you at the same level, or are you walking in different directions? And finally, what's the impact? What's the impact of what you're dealing with? If the impact is positive, then service will be better. If today you gave me a scholarship for my son to China, you can ask anything in Africa and I'll deliver it. So you invest on the impact also. Back to you, moderator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gladys. What an illuminating statement. Impact. Boy, that sounds like a good name for a conference, doesn't it? Maybe even a summit. What do you think, Brahm? Okay, moving forward. Just a little plug for you there, bro. Now, hey, we're all part of that. We are all part of that, and we are all ready to celebrate our Impact Summit on Leadership with Brahm, July 23rd. Patrick Smith, my next question is to you. Patrick, for those that don't know, as I said, works for Fort Worth ISD, and when you are in charge of a district like that, you are always having to balance federal and state mandates, things that we must be compliant with, and balance that with personal issues, personal concerns. Patrick, how do we do that? How do we balance the things that come from above, then things we must do, and yet, on the other hand, grow the people with whom we work, with whom we are entrusted?
Thanks for the question, moderator Fursey. You know, my role and journey as an educator and an educational leader has been focused on the human relationship component of our work. You know, we produce amazing product called a graduate of high school. How do you measure that? And it's challenging when our leaders, which can go to the national level in K-12 in the US, like many other countries, issue a mandate, and the way to implement it, the journey, the path, just seems so complicated. And so we do our best to acknowledge that there's never a perfect formula or situation or process for an individual. When we talk about personnel matters, we have 9,600 employees in our organization. It's real hard when the answer has to be no, and your gut and your heart and your soul say, I want to say yes, but the policy, the law, and my leaders say you can't do that. So we try and deliver news and decisions with compassion. We listen with the goal of keeping engaged employees, and sometimes those decisions result in losing employees and losing staff, as many companies and organizations have seen over the last 2 years. People left work because they were tired of compliance related to the pandemic and sub matters around that scenario of our work right now.
Very nice. Thank you, Patrick. And I do appreciate the job that you did serving the students of that district. They need you, and I know that they're going to feel the loss, but I know you have made your mark in that district and in the other districts that we have both served in. Thank you very much. Wickham, I'm sending it over to you. Wickham, hello? Okay, I thought we had a cheer. Wickham's got his own cheerleading group. Wickham works around the globe, and so he's up like 24/7. And he's working with people in all different sectors at different times of the day on different continents. Wickham, how do you do that? How do you handle, how do you work with, how do you engage people of different cultures, different understandings? And my gosh, they're in the middle of their day while you're in the middle of your night. What's that sense of communication like, Wickham?
Okay. So this is very interesting question, and I think I'm going to echo Gladius and Dr. Naga as well. Early in my life, when I was 19, 20, I got opportunity to lead a sports team in my university, which was, we were treated as an underdog, and we were designed to be losers, and it's a nightmare situation. So I found that only way to get out of this and way, it's creating a open and transparent environment. That's the leader's main role. So I found that we have to get everyone's best at this moment. And then if it need to do, we have to keep everyone same and everyone can contribute the platform. So this was the task assigned to me, and we were created a place, and which team was contributing at highest level of each individuals, and we were end up as a winning after a long time in history. This taught me important lesson. As a leader, you have to create the open, transparent environment. Then everybody can give the best of their ability, as well as they can communicate easy way. So now when I walk into any room, any meeting room, Zoom, Teams, or any continent, my first task is defining the expectation and keep all open and transparent for that required task. And that way, it's easy for me to get what I need at the end of the meeting. When I think about today's world, is most of the people are very capable. They're individually, they know what to do in their role and job, or what they have to do. But only thing is, we have to get out from them what they know. And you have to help them to go to the next level from what they know. For that task, I firmly believe we need to create an open, transparent environment that's, as a leader, that they can contribute and they can change the project and change the outcome of the company or your organization, as well as during this process, they change as well. And that they treat this as a great opportunity when you create that. So this is what I learned. Create, when you have a chance, create open and transparent environment. That's the leader's one of the best responsibility to do.
Nice, very nice. I tried typing transparent into the chat. It came out as not a word, but I think you just made it one. Like it, I like it. Thank you, Wickham. I appreciate that. Gladys has served at officer levels and leadership levels all the way up to district director. Gladys, how do you serve the people when you are at 10,000 feet and balance that with keeping in touch with people down at ground level with their feet on the ground? How do you handle that?
The law of gravity means everything that goes up must come down at one point. So you can't miss that the issues that you happen at district level affects the club. In my tenure, we run this slogan that says magic happens at the club level. So the first thing you do is you must always remember, whether you're a district leader or a club officer, you are a member first. So I made sure I've attended as many club meetings as I could, both in my club and in other clubs. Secondly, is to always ensure that you know the issues that the excos are dealing with. And the way to do that is to read and understand the area director's reports, where the clubs report to. Understanding the area director's reports and engaging with them on what their issues are, sometimes directly or sometimes through the division director. And finally, is to serve as a club officer yourself. When I was district director, I was vice president education. When I was IPP, I was vice president education. I'm currently a club president. When you are on the ground where the rubber meets the road, you feel the magic. You don't lose the moment. The moments of truth matter. How do you welcome people? Are they doing educational goals? When you tell officers to be trained, do they have time to be trained? How can you make it better? So be realistic. Whatever goes up must come down. Remain at club level always. Thank you. Back to you, Margaret.
Very nice. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Take that I need to take a pill. I need to take a little pill of Gladys every day and make sure I'm at the door greeting my students, because I get that feeling of tiredness. But you're right. That's where the magic does happen. Exactly where the magic happens, where the rubber meets the road. Thank you, Gladys. Dr. Naga, you know I'm coming to you next. You know I'm coming to you next. Dr.
Yes.
Naga, you work with people who have the power of life and death in their hands. And
Yes.
we start to get a little big of ourselves when we have that kind of juice, you know? How do you work with those people? How do you lead people who have that kind of sense of greatness about what they can do? Because all I do is write stuff on the board. They're moving body parts around within a rib cage, sir.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting question, Mr. Fursey. Actually, I'm a clinician for the past 35 years now. That means initially I was a clinician, then I became a logistician, I'm an administrator. I told you all those things. But being an anesthetist, I have worked in all types of situations in a very remote areas. I've gone and given anesthesia for patients, and different conditions I have done. But this 2 years of COVID brought in lot of leadership thing in me. I was heading the COVID operations in my hospital. It was a 500-bedded hospital. I was in charge of that. And 24/7, I used to get calls, desperate calls from people. And one side, I have to manage the clinicians. This is two types of clinicians are required. One is the doctors who look after the intensive care patients. That is COVID. You all know that what happened during COVID. I don't have to tell you the ventilator requirements and all those things. Those intensive care treating doctors, they are one group of doctors. Then what doctors treating a mildly ill COVID patients, but that mildly ill patients also, they are psychologically affected because they're scared, they did not know what to do. And then our nurses, the nursing team, so multiple people I have to handle. And third side, one side, and the other side, I have to handle the the government agencies. Because every day there was a new rule coming up, do this, this drug has to be given, so many things, regulations, allot the bed for these people. So like that, it was to be there. So myself, I took the charge of that situation. I did not take one day leave in this last 2 years during COVID. And what happened is, in the bargain, it was the most satisfying time of my life. As a doctor, I could make a difference in so many lives. I made a difference. One is whether to keep the psychological health of my doctors, the nurses, my paramedics, everybody, to keep them encouraged and motivated. That itself was motivating to me. And last 2 years, the energy which we got as a team, the energy rubbed on the team also. And we did in Bangalore, our hospital is one of the hospital in the forefront, which did an amazing work. So what did I do? I have to be honest with my people. Sometimes they are tiring. I have to push them to the next level. So we have to tell them certain times, motivate them, make them sit with them, have a cup of tea and tell them how to go about things. So that change their perspective, listen to them first. So once I listen to them, and then, the duties, putting them on duty rotas, it's the most challenging thing which happened at that time. So everything I could manage, Fursey, that, what I could say, I had to be patient. I should, my ego will not come in the front at all. I just forget that I'm even a human being. I'm just an energy. That's all was my thought process in this whole 2 years, the first wave, second wave, and third wave. And just I was there as an energy and a positive energy for people. So people have to, when they come and meet me, they should feel energized and go back. In fact, you won't believe, there are patients who was on ventilator for 120 days. And they've gone back, they got discharged and got back, and they're still now family friends with me. Because during their illness, after they came out of the COVID ICU, they come to the regular ICU. I used to go and meet them wherever possible. I used to meet them, talk to them, keep them motivated, the patients. And that used to give me a lot of happiness also. In fact, I loved it. And when the families, they smile and went back home. And now, even if there was one guy, he was a professor. If you permit me, I'll just narrate this incident. This guy was a professor, and he went into, his father died of COVID, and he also went into ventilatory care. And then he was just married 6 months old. His wife took care of him amazingly well. And then finally, he got discharged after 95 days on the ventilator. Till now, they keep posting me what they're doing, what is happening in their lives. They share it with me. So that's what this thing. So simple thing is be honest and be there what you can do. That's all.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
This was a thing which was given to me by the Toastmasters also. Could you see this?
Nice.
A small flag. Those things.
Thank you, Dr. Naga. I appreciate what you do for those patients. I put in the chat, be a positive energy for people, but I got to tell you, the thing that also stood out is I got to be a patient. And I just thought that was ironic, you being a doctor. Okay, sorry, that's a horrible joke. All right, my next question for some of our panelists. The Gallup organization, one of the leading consulting companies in the world, they did a study over why people follow others, why they follow their leaders, what is it that they're looking for from their leaders, and they came up with 4 things: hope, stability, compassion, trust. That's what followers need from their leaders: hope, compassion, stability, trust. Of these 4, which one do you do best, panelists? And of course, to our members, which one do you do best? Patrick Smith.
I believe the people I've collaborated and led with would say compassion. I'm really, I mentioned earlier, I'm attuned to the human factor of our work and what talent does or does not do for an organization. Sometimes it does get a little bit in the way for me. It can hamstring me, because when I become action oriented and I want to work through a policy or rule to find a result, sometimes it can hurt relationships or cause some discomfort. But in the end, we talk about EQ, and over 31 years and probably a good 12, 16 mentors, I cannot underestimate the value of the statement you all have heard is people won't remember what you said or did, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And so, I just spend a lot of time investing in professional relationships that have become personal relationships that help me be a better person and hopefully a better leader.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wickham, same question to you.
I'm not sure about what I do well, because it has to judge by other people. But I believe that the one thing I feel I'm comfortable is create a hope anywhere. So I would like to create hope when it comes to circumstances, any difficult or any situation or daily situation. I would like to create a hope, and that hope drives everything.
It does. It does. Hope does drive a lot. Thank you, Wickham. Simply put, universal truth. We've hit red, so I'm going to go to a secret question. I'm going to ask each of you this question. You have about 15, 20 seconds to answer it. When you do something you are really proud of, how do you pat yourself on the back? When you do something as a leader you're really proud of, come on. Sometimes you got to say, I did good. This guy did good. Otherwise, who's going to do it? How do you do it? Gladys?
I go dancing. You see, very few places you have time to revive yourself and give yourself some inner hope. We are so stuck as leaders in inertia at the corner office, in a desk, shuffling through papers and everybody coming to you for problems. But hey, you gotta shake a leg and make sure that you know that every part of you is still alive and well, because at the end of the day, if you're not enough, if you don't feel good enough, You have nothing to give the rest of the world. Yes, I go dancing.
Fantastic. I hope somebody wrote that down. I don't have time to type it down. Great answer. Dr. Naga, 15 to 20 seconds. How do you pat yourself on the back?
When you have done something good, a sense of contentment comes in your mind, a sense of happiness. Just enjoy that bliss, that blissful feeling silently. If possible, I share it with the friends around. But by and large, it gives a sense of contentment, and I'm okay with that, to silently enjoy that contentment, that sense of happiness.
Excellent.
When I do something good, that's all I do.
Thank you, Dr. Naga.
I
Patrick
wish
Smith.
I will start dancing. I will start dancing like Gladys going forward.
You had to get that in there. Patrick
Yes.
Smith, what do you do to pat yourself on the back?
You know, about 5 or 8 years ago, I would probably just quietly go home and, you know, have a little beverage with my wife and say, hey, I got this done today. But more recently, when something like there's a huge impact and you see the satisfaction from others, I'm saying to myself, what did I do that time that it worked out so well? And how do I teach others to figure out to do it like that or figure things out like that? Because we want to pass our baton, or we want to create other leaders to distribute that leadership and the opportunity for impact.
Thank you, Patrick Smith. By the way, Patrick, we are expecting you to join a Toastmasters group as soon as you land in Beijing. Wickham.
It's on my list.
All right, Wickham Hetiriachi. Oh, I always butcher that. Sorry, Wickham.
Okay, so it's interestingly, I found that most of the teams I have been, I'm the weakest person in individually perspective, and I didn't have most of the skills others had. So I found that the all victory is not belongs to me always, because I found that there was someone who drive this, not me, and someone who's there, and that person made the difference. So, and District 85 recently had a very long, lengthy election, and I found that it finished at 2 a.m. One of our club members ended up with crying because, so it's a really interesting situation. Our club end up on high at that time, and I found that our club members contribute a lot. But this is what I always feel. It's not belongs to me. I don't have to do anything because I have a next step to do, next team to build, next goal to achieve for the team.
Thank you, Wickham. To our 4 panelists, my heartfelt thanks. I know many of you are taking time out of very busy schedules. I appreciate the insight that you have shared with us. You are looking at a group of people in this club who are desiring to make an impact on their world around them, and you are giving us the tools in our minds, in our hearts, in our spirit. You are giving us the tools to go further in our journey. We thank you. We stand on your shoulders, and we know we're going to have you come back sometime soon. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please unmute for just a moment and give our panelists a big round of applause. Fantastic. And Gladys, I want another invite. I want to come back to the club. I want to come back and do a little speaking, if that's all right.
Anytime. Thank you all. Allow me to exit to go to my meeting. Have a fantastic evening, everybody.
Thank you, Gladys. Thank you, Dr.
Thanks, everybody.
You're welcome to stay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much. You've been going all day. Patrick, I know you're about to pass out. Thank you. Go stretch yourself out. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Nice. Thanks for making us to be part of a big family now.
Thank you very much, Fursey. That was definitely worth listening to 40 minutes and more. And you really illuminated the virtual screen with your knowledgeable and experienced panelists and your dynamic leadership in moderating this discussion. Toastmasters, we now have 5-minute break. Madam Timer, will you check 5 minutes, please, and then we come back. Thank you. Enjoy your cup of tea or your breakfast, dinner, lunch, whatever you have.
Grammarian, sorry, I meant to use that word of the day even more often. Didn't quite remember. I think I got it once. My personal goal was like 5 times. Come on, Fursey, use it 5 times. Good word, perfect word, and I didn't get there. Wickham, thank you. Oh, look at that! We got little Wickham.
Fursey, I'll use it instead of for you.
You're going to use it for me? Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
She didn't mention the word, you lived the word. It was illuminating.
Oh, I thought that was just the glare off my head. Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Naga. Wickham, I got to tell you, mispronouncing your name is second. I think mispronouncing Dr. Naga's full name is really first. I tried to practice. I thought, I'm not going to make it. I would have run through 35 of the 40 minutes before I got his name right. So I just went with Dr. Naga. Thank you so much for being here, both of you. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I mean, in your fields, wow. Dynamite, dynamite. Wickham, I tried to get D25 to emulate what you did with lead. I couldn't quite get it there, but I'm gonna practice some of the things that you did, and I'm gonna practice it as a principal and do that on. I don't know whether it's gonna be a daily basis. I don't think I can keep up with your pace, but at least on at minimum a weekly basis to do what you did. But I'm gonna shoot for daily.
You just have to start. It will come.
All right, all right. I've been saving up all those little stickers, all those little posts. So, but I got you in mind, man. We got to get you down to Hangzhou sometime.
Good.
It is 11:24. Do we want to reconvene the meeting now?
Anna gave us 5 minutes, and it's 5 minutes is not up yet, Peggy.
Oh, okay, thanks, Mary Lou. I'll wait for the lights.
Okay, and I take over then from you again, Peggy.
All right, I would like to reconvene the meeting now again. Our break is over, and I would like to turn the meeting control over to our wonderful Toastmaster of the day, Anna Schmidt. The floor is yours. The virtual screen is yours, Anna.
Thank you very much, Madam Sergeant at Arms. I will now call some more speakers onto board with me. Our first speaker will be a visitor to this club, Lathisha Ramanayake. Their vision, the 3M, is accurate and reflects the potential impact and evaluation has on Toastmasters or our fellow associates in the workplace. Hence, dear fellow Toastmasters, if you follow the 3 M's, you can all craft the perfect evaluation at Toastmasters. Therefore, my dear Zoom mates, do wonders with the 3 M's. But will you please read her objectives as her evaluator?
Lathisha is doing an educational speech today and covering the topic of evaluation. It is not a manual speech, and in my own clubs, I'm known for saying, friends don't let friends give non-manual speeches, but in this particular case, I think we have to allow for the educational speech. Back to you, Heather.
Thank you, Bud. Lathisha's title, 3 M's. Lathisha. 3 M's, Lathisha. The virtual screen is yours.
You're muted, Lathisha.
Am I audible enough? Yes, I think so.
We can hardly hear you, Lathisha. If you can make it a bit louder, your microphone input.
Okay, sure. All right. Am I audible enough? Yes. Thank you so very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. As a Toastmaster, I have given dozens upon dozens of speech evaluations. Then I happened to encounter 3 M. Two things happened when I encountered the 3M approach. Number one, it instantly clicked and changed my perspective on evaluation. And I realized it could apply in any feedback situation. My dear fellow Toastmates, if any one of you have any idea about this 3M, please raise your hand. 3M? I like if you do not have, then you will be so interested in my speech. So, what exactly are the 3 M's? Yes, the 3 M's refers to the 3 elements of good feedback. To be effective, feedback should be measured, meaningful, and motivating.
Let's focus on our attention on the merits of 3 M's. Giving a 3M evaluation in Toastmasters makes a new speaker want to return and give another. Today, if my evaluator gives me 3M evaluation, I will come back again. Sure. Even better speech. Likewise, giving 3M feedback to employees, clients, and other team members inspires them to develop the aptitudes and attitudes needed for high performance. My number one, that is 3M, number 1M, measured. Be measured in your glows and grooves. Good feedback artfully combines what the person did well with areas for improvement. The glows and grows. It's tempting to focus only on positive aspects of performance, but whitewash feedback can be just as harmful as piling on with negative comments. People want to feel good about where they are, but also inspired to climb higher. So whenever you want to give an evaluation, you have to raise the bar. We are there to raise the bar. Effective feedback is measured not only in its glows to grow ratio, but also in its substance. Then my second M, meaningful. We all know that a typical good job doesn't cut it. Meaningful feedback is sincere and specific. Narrow down, funnel weave, get the funnel weave, then only it will be unique to that particular speaker. It points out strengths that the speaker has to work with and provides realistic recommendations on how he can take his performance to the next level. In a meta moment, last week I provided an evaluation of an evaluator's speech evaluation. I could have simply said to her, "You gave great suggestions." Instead, I told her, "I liked how you gave a recommendation that was linked to performance expected from the speaker in the next speech. Plus, it fit his level of experience. Now, therefore, be genuine and specific in your praise. Too much of anything is good for nothing. Therefore, too much of praise can stop someone from giving a speech because he or she might think, I know everything." Then my third M, motivational. Have a motivational attitude whenever you want to raise the bar. Feedback that is measured and meaningful is worthless if the recipient walks away thinking, "I'm never doing that again." Your words should motivate the person to want to improve. The Toastmasters workshop Toastmasters workshops and meetings plus district councils must touch on 2 questions concerning motivation. Does the Toastmaster walk away feeling good? And does the Toastmaster know what to do next time? Not forever, but on the next page. That is why we have to be very specific. Then what have you got to do at last? Bring it all together. Speech evaluations in Toastmasters often follow the sandwich pattern. You start with what you liked about the speech, provide suggestions on how the speaker can improve, and end on a positive note. Not everyone likes the sandwich approach to feedback. It has sometimes, however, you can do it in a way that it's sincere and helpful to the recipient. Consider the following model for delivering feedback that is measured, meaningful, and motivational. Glow. Start with 2 or 3 sincere and specific comments about the positive aspects of the performance. Then grow. Provide 2 or 3 realistic specific recommendations that are anchored to future performance. Then glow. End with what you like most about the performance. Whether you are delivering a speech, evaluation, or conducting a performance review, set people up for success by giving feedback that is measured, meaningful, and motivational. Then MMM is accurate and reflects the potential impact an evaluation has on a Toastmaster. So our fellow Toastmasters will incorporate all these 3 M's to bring down or attract the members, potential members. This is the magnet you have to have, the 3 M's with you. Hence, dear fellow Toastmates, if you follow 3 M's, you can craft this perfect evaluation at Toastmasters meetings. Therefore, my dear Zoom mates, with 3 M's, don't let your voice sound like all the other noises. Today, be loud, be clear, and make a difference with the 3 M's. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Lathisha, for that amazing speech. I only know 3 M's, those little sweets, those delicious little sweets. Nevertheless, the next person I call on board my ship is Francoise Bowen. She started her second pathway, strategic relationships. She truly believes in forgiveness and will explain that in her 5 to 7 minute speech. Her evaluator, Granny B, please give her objectives.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. The objectives of this speech is writing a speech with purpose. The purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present it a well-organized speech on any topic. Back to you again.
Thank you, Granny B. Francoise Bowen, forgiveness is spelled peace. Forgiveness is spelled peace. Francoise Bowen.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Evening and our evaluator. In June 2021, I delivered a speech entitled Forgiveness is Spelled Peace. Today, July 9th, 2022, I'm delivering it again, but this time more narrowed down to focus on the action word forgiveness. Distinguished Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and prospective Toastmasters, why is it healthy to forgive? There are so many reasons to seek forgiveness, but there's also so many reasons to seek revenge on someone who hurt you, used you, abused you through various forms. You want to see them get paid back for what they did to you, said to you, even to a loved one or your cat. Yes, and the result must be immediate to that person, place, or thing. The definition of forgiveness per Google search said, the action or process of forgiving or being forgiven. Let me take a quick focus on being forgiven. The last part that says being forgiven. All of us at one point in our life hurt someone. Take a moment, just take a quick minute and reflect. Your immediate reaction is you want that person to forgive you because you want to have a healthy relationship, whether it's a business relationship, family relationship, child, spouse relationship. You want it to be healthy, so you want that forgiveness. And how do you feel? You have peace of mind and your anxiety level is down to 0. Today's culture is all about cancel culture, and that promotes unforgiveness. It leads to anxiety, attacks, mental breakdown, entitlement spirit, victim blaming. And let me share this with you. I personally do not believe in cancel culture. I actually do not. You are looking at someone who was molested 4 times. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times. And the first time it began at the age of 5 years old. And scientists made it clear, between the ages of 4 and 6, the child mind is already developed, and that determines their future. You can look at a child and determine their future. That person stole my mind, my heart, and changed my entire outlook towards life. And I want to share something with you. I'm going to share with you a sample of how I look being not forgiving a person. And in the photo, I was extremely thin. I was extremely looking pale. I was looking horrible. No one could not even notice me. But then I looked in the Bible, and when I looked in the Bible, it said the definition of forgiveness means letting go of sin. I began to practice it. And today, I am healthy, mentally, socially, everything. Forgiveness is important. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, this is a deep topic, and I assume everyone listening and watching me have reasons not to let go of who hurt you, and very well could be saying, why she don't get off my screen? Yeah, I understand. But we just heard Toastmaster Fergie with his panelists speaking about leadership. As a leader, setting an example to everyone near and far, forgiveness is mandatory. You sleep and eat well. Your mental state of mind and heart is at rest and not anxious. Your ways are prosperous and you have good success. Mind you, prosperity is not only about money, but it actually means that everything that you put your hand to do becomes prosperous and you have extremely good success. Why? God takes control of your life. As I wrap up, remember this: unforgiveness is deceiving yourself to think that the person who hurt you is drinking your poison, but initially you're drinking it. The result: poor health, poor emotional imbalances, and for us who may not know this, your emotion contributes to our body functionality, whether good or bad. When you live in a place of forgiveness, you have good health. Forgiveness is felt peace. Thank you. I hand the virtual lectern back over to our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Bowen. Definitely peace is something, and forgiveness is something to think about. You can't grieve all the time. The next speaker I on board is our captain, Brahm. And we thank Brahm, who has jumped in as a reserve speaker. Brahm is the co-founder of Leadership Speak and the Toastmasters Club. Brahm is a Toastmaster for 26 years and has attained his DTM twice. He was awarded Club Coach for the year 2020, and he also served as Club Growth Director for the year 2021-2022. Dinesh, the evaluator of Brahm, please read his objectives.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters. The Brahm is presenting the team collaboration, speech number 1, evaluations and feedback. So he's going to present a speech on any topic, evaluations and feedback. Over to you. And the title of his speech is Don't You Dare Be Busy. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Brahm's title is Don't Dare to Be Busy. Don't you dare be busy. Brahm, over to you. The stage is yours.
That is right. Don't you dare be busy. Don't you tell me ever that you are busy. I don't want to hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. We all know that we wear this badge of honor, which is called I am busy. You know, I go into organizations, this is before COVID, of course, or now on the online meetings where I meet clients or whatever, or friends, and what is the first thing they will say is, hey, Brahm, I'm busy. Are you busy? You must be busy too. All right, bye. And so we wear this busyness, the badge of honor on our chests, like I'm busy, you know? And why do you do that? Like, if you say you are busy, how are you going to communicate with me? is going to be very different than if you don't use the space of I am busy. And I'll tell you how. See, we think that being busy is something that we really need to be because we've been told to begin with in our early age, don't you just sit there, do something. And then, of course, the FOMO and the significance. FOMO is what? FOMO is the fear of missing out. We live in a society where we want to have everything, experience everything, be everything, do everything. There's millions of things that we are given a choice of, and we want to do a lot of those things. And we have this bucket lists and to-do lists and things that we want to do. And we are running around life like insignificant bunnies, yet we are playing the busy card to be significant, to feel important. That's our validation card. That is like, this is who I am. Look what I'm doing. Haha, badge of honor, right? This is what we tend to do. And I say to you, don't you dare tell me that you're busy. I don't care. I know you're all busy. I know your plates are small and you got lots of things on your plate. If your plate is small, order from an Amazon.com a big plate, a 14-inch plate if you don't have a smaller plate. Everyone's got a plate that is full. But it's how you deal with what's on your plate that is important to me, rather than telling me your plate is full and you're busy. I don't care. It doesn't give me anything about you. You will never hear me say I'm busy. When we meet and there's time to exchange something, I will not say I'm busy. We tend to talk through that veil of busyness. We have this armor, this veil, and then we are talking through that veil of busyness. And what conversations can you have when you're busy? Through that veil. The sharing is limited. The getting to know you is very limited. The only thing that I know about you is that you're busy. Here's the thing. I work in large organizations and I meet a lot of CEOs. Do you think their plate is huge? And do you think it's like overflowing? Yes, indeed it is. Here's one thing that I've known about very successful, high-performing people. They will never, ever open their statements with I'm busy, or they will never in that first little while in that conversation say I'm busy. They will not use those words. When I meet John in the corridors or in the hallways, bump into him in the washroom, right? CEO of a large organization, $1 billion and over. What does John say? The first thing is, hey, Brahm, how are you? And then, I say, oh, okay, I'm great. And before I even ask him anything, he shares something about himself. Now, he could be in a hurry. He could be saying, I'm busy, just shut up and just go. No, he stands there and spends a minute with me, looks me in the eye and shares with me what's going on in his office, what's going on in the projects that we are working on together, or the clients or the organization. And if it's, of course, something that he can't share, he won't share those things, but those things that he can share, he will. If it is a Friday afternoon, he will tell me about how he's going to spend his weekend, going away golfing with his buddies or with his family, or the barbecue they're having, or the vacation he's having, or maybe he's doing more work at home and what it's all about and why he's doing that. And the reason for it, rather than saying, oh, I'm going to be busy, never, ever says that. Because sharing yourself creates affinity. It creates a connection. When you say you are busy, what sort of connection are you creating? Is that you are busy, I'm busy. Let's connect on the busy level. And you never get to know anyone. In fact, in these times of uncertainty, and in times of, if you look at the screen, there's like 29 little squares, and everybody's isolated from each other, and nobody can speak to each other except in chat. But you don't want to speak in chat because you need to hear me. And so we are very isolated in this world. And so we really need to connect with each other. And to connect with each other, we have to drop that veil of being busy. The other thing is, of course, as leaders, we need to have time to reflect, to spend time with ourselves, to write down our journal, to sort of say, what are my goals? How did I do well what did I do well today? What did I learn today? And what am I going to be doing tomorrow? Time for reflection. Every day, you, as a leader, you must spend time in reflection. Do you? Do you look at your calendar? Is everything on your calendar to begin with? If everything was on your calendar, you'd never be busy. You'll be accomplishing. You'll be productive. You'll be effective. So use your smartphone. There's a calendar that comes on it. You don't have to buy a calendar. It comes automatically with your smartphone. It's embedded in your smartphone. So when everything is in your smartphone and you know what you're doing and you're focused and you're clear, you can have conversations with people that are ones that can connect you with the other people, that creates affinity, that creates connection, deep connection, and it makes things much, much better. So be less busy, which means don't get your mind into this formal thing, a significance thing and validation badge. Take that off. You don't need it. I don't want to hear it either, that you're busy. So ladies and gentlemen, from today, when you have conversation with me, don't you dare be busy. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brahm. Busy is a drug a lot of people are addicted to as a matter of priority, because it is a priority to them. Madam Timer, have all the speakers been on time?
Thank you, Mrs. Toastmaster. We have the speakers for today. So Fursey's control panel was 41 minutes and 40 seconds, just a smidge over. Lathisha was 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Francoise was 5 minutes and 54 seconds. And Brahm was 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much. And let us now vote for the best speaker.
Madam Toastmaster, there's no voting for the speaker because one was a panel and one was a guest speaker. So hence we don't have any voting today.
Okay, thank you very much for informing me.
Thank you.
And now I take another person on board with me. And that will be our general evaluator. Vinod, you have come on board and will be my ship captain, and you will be the general evaluator. The virtual stage is yours.
Hey, Captain. Well, thank you very much for illuminating the screen. And ladies and gentlemen, I am ready with the team of evaluators to evaluate the amazing meeting that has been going on. The first, let me welcome the first evaluator who would be evaluating the panel, the first that we had seen. And to do that, I will be calling upon someone very special. He is the mentor, the president of our club, distinguished Toastmaster Brahm. Brahm, the screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will also spotlight Fursey with me, normally we don't as an evaluator, but because this is a panel discussion and this is for 5-minute evaluation, if you can just spotlight Fursey next to me. Hi, Fursey, how are you doing? Now,
hello,
to begin with, you're welcome. Let me just explain the context of why Fursey was doing this today. On July the 23rd, he will be the panel moderator for the World Champions of Public Speaking. 3 World Champions of Public Speaking will be present. Verity Price, Mark Brown, and Lance Miller will be present, and they will be doing a panel discussion, and Fursey will be the moderator of that panel. Yay, awesome. So what we did was Fursey wanted to practice, and this was his practice run. So I'll be brutal because we are going to be on the stage with 1,000 people, right? So I'm going to be brutal today, not softness. Now, to begin, before I become brutal with you, and this is an advanced club, so of course I have to be. I will first acknowledge the panelists, because panelists, this is not about you, it's about Fursey. So to begin with, let me just acknowledge the panelists. Thank you so much for having a wide, diverse panel. 4 people on the panel. They were experts, they were knowledgeable, they were excited, they knew what they were talking about, they had a great experience behind them. So that was perfectly well chosen, Fursey. Now, you will not have a choice, of course, with the with a panel for the World Champions that was already chosen for you. They are the top speakers on the planet, right from 1995, Mark Brahm, Lance Miller in 2005, and Verity Price just last year. And there's a wide experience, so different. Now, you had a theme for this panel, uncertainty or leading in uncertainty, right? Or something like that, leading in a time of uncertainty. And so, and I loved it because we are in uncertain times. You know, people think that we are coming out of uncertain times. I think uncertain times will last a bit much longer because, as you may know, pandemic is starting in other countries and there's now beginning to shut down or wear masks or whatever. You never know with the pandemic as to what's really going on. Having said that, you had prepared questions, you had prepared your panelists well in advance. They knew what was coming and the questions that you might be asking them. So there were no surprises really as such. They were well prepared and so on. There's two types of panels. One is, of course, this prepared panel where they know everything and then you ask them questions based on that through their expertise. And so that was done well. The panelists knew what they were doing. They added their expertise and passion to it and all that stuff. So that was great in that terms. Now, let's get to the hard part because we want you to get to the next level for on July the 23rd, is that you should have begun with, open the panel with your theme, which is leading in an uncertain time and what it really meant to you and why this panel was coming together and explain that. And then as they came in one by one, of course, introduction of the panel, plus why their opinion of leading in an uncertain time is the first thing that they should have said, rather than what is leadership. Because when you ask what is leadership, it is such a complex question. And you'll get so many different answers that it leaves the audience in no space because it's really a wide open subject. Anyways, what is leadership to begin with? So the question would be, how do you lead in uncertain times? Because that was the theme, and the theme of the meeting is the same. So that's what you should have begun with. And so on. You could have asked questions like, you know, what was your experience and then when you were asking the questions, what would your experience in leading in uncertain times? What did you do that worked? What did you do that didn't work? What would you do different? Now you are just addressing the theme in all those questions directly rather than indirectly through, you know, how about trust or, and you know, he had a couple of different things that I wrote you, but I can't find them on my notes. So those are the things. There's two types of panels, right? And so one of the panel that you're going to meet on July 23rd, what they are going to do is it'll be a 1-hour panel. They're each going to speak for 5 minutes at the beginning, and they have a different, and I've shared with you, right, what they're going to speak about. And then they're going to open it straight to the audience. So you're really going to be a real moderator. In this case here, every time somebody spoke, then you said, great, awesome, amazing, you know, and as an evaluator, you know, an evaluator never says that, great, awesome, amazing, you know, it sort of waters down what the person is really saying because you're not really saying what they're saying or adding or whatever. When somebody is finished speaking, either you say and agree with what they've said by your own experience, add something there, or add a contention there as to what your opinion is about it, and then ask the audience, what do you guys think about this? You know, so you could have done it that way rather than say, sort of telling them how great they were every time they said something. All right, so that's how a real panel is really run. It doesn't matter what type of panel you're running, that's how a panel is run. So I would suggest for the next 2 weeks, watch a few panels on YouTube, and we will go through this with you over the next 2 weeks to make sure that you're prepared for the other panel, which will be 3 speakers, 5 minutes each. They will tell you what they are, and then you'll ask the audience. You, of course, will either say something that you like about them, about what it is that you like, rather than, oh, I like it. What it is that you like, just like an evaluator does, right? Or my opinion is, and what do you think? And ask them questions yourself. No problem. You don't have to wait for the audience. And sometimes, you know, the audience waits for a little while before they start asking questions. So be prepared for asking your own questions, and you know what they're going to speak about. So make notes and then have your interjections along the way. And sometimes if there's a lull or there's no questions, you have to ask questions. So things like that. But never say, oh yeah, great, or I like that. Say why you like that would be better. So that is my evaluation for you today. I mean, congratulations, this is your first try. And I'm also looking forward to your next project, which should be 100 people and in the audience where you will be leading a panel of experts. Here's the thing. The other thing was you had 4 panelists in a 40-minute. Time goes very fast, Fursey. Even in an hour's panel, 3 panelists and a moderator is just, the time goes very fast. You will find it goes so fast. It's just amazing. So for a 40-minute, three people would have been enough. Now, I've already told the panelists it's not a reflection of you guys. This is about Fursey going to the next level because we want him to do that. So thank you so much again for what you did today, and you learned a lot. I'm glad that you had a diverse panel with very different points of view and so on. I did like Dr. Naga, who was a bit more direct in how he leads in uncertainty way, because when life and death is concerned, it really gets amplified, what you do in uncertainty. And I really got a lot out of that and how he does things. That really, because it amplifies in a hospital when the patient's life is on whether he's going to die or live. So having said that, Fursey, I look forward to sort of having a lot more conversations with you along the way between now and July 23rd. But I hope everyone registers for this event, and we'll see you on July the 23rd. Thank you so much. And I know I went way beyond time because I really had to sort of do this with Fursey now. And for the audience as well, back to you, Mr. G.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Brahm. That was really insightful. And my comments on your comments to Fursey would be, you pointed out the 2 types of evaluation, and I will also be direct over here because I would like Fursey to work on taking questions from audience. Because when you are a moderator, I would request you not to type anything, because even though you may be the best impromptu speaker in the world, doing those 2-3 things would make you jumble, especially in a big occasion. So just ask questions. And in a big event, there would be only 2 or 3 people who would be active, like what you say in the chat. So make sure, be clear that to the audience that the questions should be addressed to me as a moderator or to someone, and take a help to take the questions. And I would even say that even if you don't take the question, means tell someone, 1 or 2 people to send you the questions, compile them, and then keep asking the questions. So I feel, means what you say, other than that, it was amazing. Thank you very much. Whoever thought of bringing the panelists, it was really insightful. And from the bottom of the heart, thank you very much. And I will give other written evaluation to Fursey, surely. Now, here we have our James Bond, who would be evaluating our next speaker, Francoise. Granny, the screen is all yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator. Francois, I loved how your personal story illuminated your perspective of forgiveness. You definitely, the purpose of this was for you to be able to, for us to be able to see that purpose coming through. And you were very clear with a lot of that going down your storyline. Well done on that. What I also felt you did really well was there were times that your eye contact was really good. Note what that I'm saying. There were times that your eye contact was really good. So it showed that you knew where the camera was and you purposefully looked into it to make eye contact with us. You also displayed great body language. You were far enough away to be able to express yourself, and not like with me now, it's cutting off my hands. So that perspective was very well done. I'm going to try and save a little bit of time now, but I will give you a detailed write-up, and I would like to move to a recommendation. I'd like to make the recommendation that we did notice that you were using notes, and maybe you and I can have a secret assignment, and I can show you how you can pin up your notes that it's not so clear to the rest of the world that you are using notes. And then I would like to also state that the part you stated in the beginning, to just explain that this is going to be a second time that you're presenting this, maybe that could go into the introduction for the Toastmaster of the day, so that you can just come in and grab our attention with what you're doing. Well done, Francoise. And I am excited about your progress, and my detailed response will be in your inbox soon. Mr. General Evaluator, back to you.
Thank you very much, Granny, for that quick evaluation. Give her a big round of applause, everyone. So I only look at point of improvements when an evaluator is giving an evaluation in an advanced club, especially Leadership Speaks. And what I had written, I will definitely share. Granny is going to give you a 5-page evaluation. I am 100% sure. That's just adding pressure to her. Okay, so the purpose of the speech was to understand the writing of, like what you say, no, the speech method. Okay, so whether the purpose was met, that was a question mark first. Second is Senior Toastmaster, Advanced Toastmaster, focus on your opening. I would have loved, don't go for today I am here, tomorrow I am there and all these things. I would have loved if you have opened with, take a moment to think about the time that you hurt someone. Like that would have been a good opening, and it would have meant something to the speech, that you had such a amazing speech. You gave so many data of this, but when you spoke about cancel culture, how did you come up with that word cancel culture, and where was the data for that cancel culture? I would have loved to understand that, what is that cancel culture more, because you gave a lot of data with proper evidence that you spoke about this. And the topic of the speech, I felt drinking the poison would have been better and intriguing rather than that simple one, forgiveness and peace. It looks very cliche. Drinking the poison, are you drinking or is somebody else giving you, something like that? Other than that, you are a very powerful speaker. I would like to see you more. Thank you very much, Francois. No, let me pronounce how Granny spelled it. Francois. Yeah, I did that. Now, there was a lot of shuffling that happened today. So I shuffled the card, and one of the evaluator was down now. And let me call upon someone whom I look up to and got inspired by one of the meetings, Distinguished Toastmaster Bud, H.W. Bud. He will be evaluating our special guest, Toastmaster Lathisha. Bud, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Vina. Lathisha, wow, what a great speech. I was caught up, first of all, and I'm going to say this may sound very superficial, but your beautiful smile lights up the screen. And some people think that, well, you don't tell people about their smile because of course they're going to smile, but it's not true. And people forget what a great asset that is. Never forget that. I thought your gestures were good today, but as was pointed out in Granny B's evaluation of our previous evaluation, a little too low. We want to have gestures that are high enough that people can see them. And that really adds to the power of them. Now, you did one set of gestures that were in clear sight of the screen. And you said you're M. I'm going to suggest a minor improvement that would change the whole presentation of that. Instead of M, and then saying, what is that? What do you think? And when we didn't raise our hands, say, well, that's great. I feel good now. Frankly, I'm sorry, most of the people listening to you don't care how good you feel. Instead, just say 3 M's. Mission, meaningful, motivational. We already want to know. Just tell us. You gave such great examples today. I was really impressed with how in each case where you were telling us about a concept, you proceeded to give us an example of what that concept, how that plays out. And I thought that was a marvelous use of your own experiences, because that's something that people are looking for. People love to hear a story, and they certainly mostly love to hear a story that they can identify with. And as a fellow Toastmaster, you definitely had stories like that to tell. This is a great speech for giving people ideas on how to give evaluations, but just as importantly, for giving people ideas on how to give feedback in the workplace, in your home, with your friends. Giving feedback in a way that people will accept is one of the most positive things we can do. And it's one of the best things we learn in Toastmasters. And you taught it to us today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bud. And I also really enjoyed, and when Lathisha had asked about 3M, I had raised my hand because for me, the 3M that I knew was method, matter, and manner, one of the framework for evaluation. But today I learned something new. So thank you very much for that. I actually thought you could make it 4 M's. Measured, meaningful, motivational, and become a club magnet. Yeah, and the magnet can be the 4M, and then that's how you take this 3M and make the 4th M. And as Bud said, give us one story where some member had taken your suggestion and used one of them. It would have been more like what you say, amazing with your graceful smile. Thank you very much for visiting our club. Please do visit regularly and contact Dinesh. He's our VP membership. So next, I would be calling someone who has got a brilliant mind, not only in his position as a person, but as an entity, as a corporation. Please put your hands together to welcome our VP membership, Toastmaster Dinesh, who will be evaluating DTM Brahm. Dinesh, the screen is all yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator and Brahm. Your speech, the title of your speech illuminated all of us, because the title said, "Don't you dare be busy." And we all tend to remain busy. I'm going to give you 3 parts. I think somebody had mentioned it, that talk about the positives that you liked in the speech, then recommendations, meaningful recommendation, and then end it with the positive. So the positive part of your speech was that the title itself. Then few things that you did there in the speech was, you used the words fear of missing out, FOMO. I heard that word for the first time, FOMO. I thought, what FOMO means? Okay, so now I learned something new. The second thing, which you use your body language, badge of honor. So you showed it on the badge of honor, saying on your thing. The third thing that you did was you gave a real life examples of saying even the biggest companies, CEOs, okay, even they take the time to meet with the people. And I have seen that in my life. I know a CEO who meets somebody and asks 3 simple questions. How are you? How's your family? That's the connectivity part of it too. And the last and the very important thing that you did, you summarize your speech title at the end of your speech by saying, "Don't you dare be busy." So you related back to the title of your speech. 2 recommendations that I think could have made it a little better. The first is you could have related this fear of missing out with the Rogers communication outrage that happened yesterday in Canada. Okay. We all tend to be on our smartphone. We all tend to be on things. We want to learn. But then yesterday, we all were disconnected. And we still spend time with our loved ones or whatever, going out in the park. So you could have related that part, that we still survived the Rogers power communication outrage yesterday. That's the one part, which will stories relate. People would have been able to relate that story very well. And the second thing, which could be my personal observation, is while you were speaking, there was a point where I think that you were trying to speak a little faster or a little trying to rush it up, maybe, and that could be my observation. But other than that, your speech was fabulous. And the last thing is, You are an inspiration. I say this openly to everybody. The work you do, putting this global impact summit together, is not an easy job, but you still connect with each one of us. I see the messages on the group. You still connect with everybody. So good job, Brahm. It's always a pleasure to connect with you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Dinesh, for that evaluation. And the 2 points that were given was relevant. You could have given some immediate or relevant point. And the second was something you said, you speak faster, which every evaluator keeps telling, like what you say, Brahm, because he's a very passionate person and sometimes it happens. That's what Sandy also said always. Now, from my side, what I would like to challenge Brahm is, just a second. What I would like to challenge Brahm is to give a presentation without technology, without a single slide, and make the words your powerful tool. That I would challenge you to take a project on voice and FOMO or whatever it is. Use your voice, use your what you say, pace, pause, speech, whatever you want, the tools to give an impact, because you are an amazing person with technology. We all know, we don't have doubt, but we want to see you grow with your voice and with that variation. That is one challenge that I would like to put. Second is, the topic was very clear. You are telling us, don't dare to be busy. Now, I always say that if you are telling us something, show us how. Now, you told us how in one way of saying that, share something, the story of CEO. When you meet someone, no matter how busy you are, you share something. The second was self-reflection that you want to do. And the third is connect behind the veil. That was a little bit vague. And I completely agree with you. Like I always personally say that if you are a lion, you have two choices. Either you run behind an antipole or a field mice. Both take same time. But one is just a snack and the other is a complete dinner and lunch. So this is something which I like a lot, Brahm, but I would like to give you this challenge. So the evaluation segment will, like what you say, end by calling up with our word master and grammarian, Toastmaster DTM Bud, who will be giving us the word master and grammarian report. DTM Bud.
Thank you, Vinod. Well, we had quite great uses of the English language today, and I have seen all sorts of marvelous examples of well-spoken, well-presented speeches and evaluations, and even in our panel where they were speaking, it was sort of like a 40-minute table topics with very talented table topic speakers. Enjoyed the whole thing. I have some comments to make. One of them is, and this is something that I would like to see Toastmasters around the world start to watch out for, and that is the concept of the run-on sentence. Now, all of us, especially in a club like Leadership Speak, have a lot to share. Unfortunately, that means we're trying to cram all that information into a very short space, and so we're talking a lot of time. We're not bothering to stop our sentences or even to pause. We're just leaping right in with these masses of information, and it is, to the audience, like being hit with a fire hose. A sprinkler is pleasant on a hot summer day. A fire hose, not so much, blows you back into the wall. In support of that, I'm also going to refer to the filler words that I heard today. And by the way, the only person who really used the word or to any great degree was our general evaluator today, Vinod. I counted 25 of them once I started realizing how often you were saying So something to watch out for. Pauses are okay instead of The other words that I heard as filler words were so, and actually. Actually was one that popped up. Dr. Naga used that one a few times. Watch out for the filler words because they weaken your message. Now, as to our word illuminate today, our Toastmaster Hannah used it 3 times. Fursey used it once. Marianne used it once. Dinesh used it twice. If I missed any others, I apologize, fellow Toastmasters. I had a lot on my plate today, and while that's not an excuse, Brahm, it is an explanation. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Bud, for doing a lot of roles and doing it with sincerity. I'm amazed at how can you do this, and I will be very mindful. Count my arms and hours now. I will be very mindful about that. So now let us come to the entire meeting. Apart from this evaluation session, what happened from the beginning? The role of a general evaluator is generally to evaluate the entire meeting from the beginning till the end. We started on time, and Peggy came in. We have to start tuck, 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 tuck. As Bud just mentioned, sometimes we have to be sprinkle instead of a horse. So in the beginning, because from what happened was it started immediately and it went fast. As a SAA, you did your role perfectly. You spoke about what is it, means you all are in your home, the fire exits or whatever it was and what Toastmaster is. What I would like to see for every role player in Toastmaster, in our leadership speaks, is an introduction is a 45 seconds speech. Let us try to incorporate that from our next meeting. We actually have a manual for that in Toastmasters, that how to introduce someone. So when a SAA introduces, and today we didn't have the president, I would have loved to see the president. If the president is giving speeches, you call the VP head. If the VP head is giving speeches, you call the membership, PR, even the SAA. Like, we have to have someone who is the CEO and who gives direction that this is my, like what you say, office, and here is what our proceedings are going to be. So that look or that feel of CEO gives meaning to the meeting instead of directly jumping through that. So, and other thing, okay, so the other thing is, introduction. Make sure, let us focus on 45 seconds introduction and let us take them high and make them fly. Every person who comes on screen should feel that pumped up feeling, and that is one challenge, not only to Peggy, I'm giving to everyone, including to me, to introduce the evaluators for any role that I take. Other than that, I felt that you did an amazing job. You introduced Hannah. Now, Toastmaster Hannah, I felt you were going to meet the Queen of England today. You were dressed for occasion. You were illuminating the screen. You were completely prepared with the theme completely. And you explained the ship also, like what you said, this is like a leadership, and I am going to take all the role players in my ship. Very well prepared. So, and I am 100% sure that you have put a lot of effort in doing so. So hats off to you. Let's give her a special round of applause, everyone. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Hannah, for that. You introduced the timer. You introduced, like what you say, the speakers, everyone very well. Thank you very much for being, like what you say, bringing this panel. Apart from that, all the evaluators, a general thing, if you are giving the sandwich method or whatever method it is, let us be an advanced club and focus on point of improvement. At least 3 points of improvement, no matter who is speaking. Let us make this a thumb rule that if we are speaking, at least 3 points of improvement we need to give, and summarize. Summarizing is an art in evaluation. Let us learn, instead of saying that, okay, great, and all this thing, how to summarize and sum up the evaluation. That is something that I would like to see more in this club. Apart from that, thank you very much, Timer, who has been the silent role player, but she has been very diligent. She is showing the lights, and when the lights are going off, she spotlights herself and comes and says, your time is up. So that was done amazingly. So it has been a very, like what you say, amazing experience for me to be a general evaluator with great team of evaluators, and always leadership team is like a family. Thank you very much, and back to the Toastmaster of the day, Hannah. You're muted, Hannah.
I thank all my crew members who have been on board with me for their unwavering and loyal support. We now have landed safely. And my ship is illuminated to onboard some of our guests and visitors to find out how they have enjoyed the journey with Leadership Speak Toastmasters. And the first one I'm going to ask is one of the panelists, Vikum.
Hi, thank you very much for today's meeting, and I really enjoyed. And I found that evaluations are really good and detailed, and a lot of things pointed out and explained as well. And I really enjoyed that part, and all the speeches was well prepared. And I found that this club is going to rock. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And somebody whose bedtime is nearly there, Dr. Naga, give us a few words, please.
Yeah, thank you, TMOD, for giving me the opportunity to say again, hello to you again. Thanks. Thanks, it was a fantastic meeting and I really enjoyed it. I was just listening to each and every of you and learned a lot, just taking some learnings to my club also. Tomorrow is our installation function in IMB Orators Club. So I am the TMOD for the day tomorrow. So I'll be taking so many messages from here for that. Thank you for this opportunity. Would love to connect again and again, if at all there is an opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Naga. And now for our guest speaker, Lathisha, how did you enjoy the meeting?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Yes, I did. I did enjoy your meeting and I learned a lot. It was very insightful and fully fledged. It was a well-run meeting and I would love to come again to not only to deliver speeches but to listen to the speakers and take part in other roles as well. Really wonderful, and thank you. I think my friend, my Facebook friend, Marianne, did I pronounce your name well? She has invited me for the Advanced Toastmasters Club and Global. There's another event coming next week as well. So I really love to take part in this club. The reason is the illustrations, evaluations, everything is very impactful, and speakers are delivering speeches so enthusiastically, because I think it's an Advanced Toastmasters Club. So keep up the good quality. Kudos to all of you and all the best. May God bless you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Then we have a person there that's called Corona. Would you like to tell us something about the meeting, please? Not there.
Hi. Hey, sorry, I cannot. I am not convenient to on my video. Yes, it's a very wonderful evening I have to join your meeting, and it's very insightful and illuminating a lot of my thinking tonight. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for your kind words. And then I'm looking at Mary. I don't know whether you say touch or touche. Mary?
Hello. Hi, everybody. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm running a little bit, here and there, a little bit, not 100% on the in the meeting, but I just want to say that this is a very very interesting, very captivating, especially the panel discussion. I can see the different, the bird, different idea and perspective from the leaders from different area of the globe. And I am so happy to make it today. And I'm looking forward to this kind of panel discussion in the near future. I have learned something from here today. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for those kind words. Then I see a person called Sam Richmond, who's got his hand, the hand is raised. Sam?
Hi, Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you for having me at the meeting. I dropped in and out because I'm based in South Africa and my internet was going all funky. A very different kind of meeting for me. So it was, and not in a good or a bad way, but very different experience. And I thoroughly, there were lots of learnings for me from this club. And yeah, I look forward to visiting you again. But thank you for a different Toastmasters Club meeting experience. I'm very grateful for that.
Sam, did you say, are you from South Africa? You didn't have load shedding.
I did have load shedding and my data, mobile data wasn't stable. So it kept booting me in and out. So I was waiting for the power to be turned on.
Oh my, thank you. So it's not only Roger, it's also load shedding. Yvonne, my ship is open to you. It's illuminated and I onboard you. Nope. Okay. Then there's a signature that I cannot read. I think it's Chinese, but I cannot read that. Would that person please be on board? Come on board. Nothing there. Okay, and I see Weekend has just opened his video. Over to you. I'll onboard you also, Weekend.
Thank you, Madam Hannah. Oh, this is the secret to speak out. So to turn on the video and to speak. It was a wonderful evening, and I will not repeat what those Toastmaster has spoken. So something I noticed about this meeting and the special about this meeting is I finally found a club that truly live up the Toastmaster value. So I would like to point out few. There's some audience may not observe. Hopefully, the first of all is like to my surprise that this team, in fact, actually take a rehearsal 12 hours ahead of time, which is amazingly good. And it was very rare that Toastmaster chapter meeting or Toastmaster meeting, they prep beforehand. So this is wonderfully done. And second, I really found that this meeting or this club truly live up the Toastmaster value, where the old theme says, Toastmaster mission is provide mutual supportive environment. So this is a very good example whereby I found that eventually I noticed that this panel discussion was meant to help Fursey to prep himself for the future panel discussion, which is, I think that this is very wonderfully done, whereby this panel help us and at the same time help Fursey to prepare for his upcoming event. So to me, I think this is a great job, and this is a great event, and also a great value that live up. And I hope that each and every Toastmaster club in the world will do as what this club doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And another person that has commented so much in the chat box and has opened her video, Monica, I onboard you.
Is it my turn?
Yes, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Monica, and I am currently the dual president of two clubs in Shanghai, China. One is called DPS, a stand-up comedy club. Yes, we are a group of funny people who tells a stand-up comedy and jokes. And the other club is called Xing Chao Club, which features reading. So all the people in Shanghai who love reading would come to our club. So I was just elected to be a president 2 weeks ago, and now I am leading two great teams at the same time, and I have met a lot of challenges and difficulties during the process, and that's why I came here tonight to listen to the leadership panel discussion, from which I really learned a lot. I also wanted to come here to support Fursey, the champion of our District 85 this year. Also, I saw Wickham, who is the hero of District 85, and just now I also saw Wickham, the legend of District 85. So we are all from this District 85 family. So good to see so many old friends here. Also want to thank Mr. Brahm, I believe, yeah, for his great speech. Don't you dare say that you are busy because I heard that a lot from my teams and my colleagues in the workplace. So I try not to say that to others. Yeah, so great meeting, great Toastmaster Club. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then I think it's, do I pronounce it correctly? Quinley, you are on board my ship.
Thank you, Hannah, to bring me on board. I'm from China, and also I was attracted by the panel, and I'm the nobody in Toastmaster, but I would like knowing how to make the initiative for the panel discussion. Maybe I will take a role for the panel moderate. So today I learned from all of you how to make a panel and also connect with different persons. And I also learned from our DTM, Mr. Brahm. He said how to make the connection with the panelists, how to make the connection with the audience, and also ask ourselves why we like their answer and agree with them also. So it's good journey for me to join this meeting. I hope I have chance to learn from with all of you in future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we come to our stalwarts, Dave. He's been visiting us so often. Give us your comment.
You want a comment from me? Okay, well, I came here basically to be a cheerleader for Mariana Burka. I was visited her visited this format for the same reason before. I think it's a pretty good endeavor. It's quite vast. I mean, the areas of the world in which the people here come from is illuminating to me, that they have different perspectives from their cultures in which they come from, and all the different accents added up is just kind of delightful, if you ask me. But to evaluate the meeting, I'd say it's still in its sort of embryonic stages, as we see that there's all kinds of ums and ahs and so's and whatever that someone else has pointed out. And once they pointed it out, I started to hear them too. And to use that word, so that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your words. We'll look after it. We will definitely at the end of this term or whatever cut out all the so's and ums and ahs, definitely. Thank you very much. Is there anybody that I've left out that would like to say something? I think so. Mr. President?
We want to listen to Peter Latzman.
Well, I looked for Peter. I looked for, oh, there he is, all of a sudden. Yes, Peter, please give your comment.
Indeed, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, fellow guests, and other Toastmasters. The meeting was friendly and professional. And I hope you just will allow me to keep coming back. Thank you.
Yes, you may. No problem. I think I have covered everybody. I see Vino just got his hand up, or that is for a thank you. Mr. President, before I close the meeting, would you like to say something, a few words?
Mary Ann has her hand up, or Mary Lou has her hand up.
Yes, Madam Timer. Brahm?
Hannah, I'd asked at the beginning of the meeting for maybe a few minutes to talk about GLS, but I don't know if I have been allowed at that time.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that we have on our agenda is for the GLS that's upcoming is to do a video. And one of the things that came out of today's meeting, which is really good, is, you know, you lead by example. So I'm going to ask the club a couple of things. If you are registered for the conference, Please put up this virtual background and so that we get additional advertisement for the concert going forward. If you want it, you can get it from Brahm, and you know, it will help us a lot in getting the message out. The other thing that we were going to ask is that if the members could actually do a video and remember to use hashtag GLIS 2022 so that we would get, again, some traction in getting our message out. And that's my ask. Our call to action from the team. Thank you very much, Hannah.
Wow, definitely a call to action. Thank you very much, Mary Lou. And Brahm, our president, do you want to make the final words before I close the meeting?
Thank you. I have one request, and that is that my request for me is that I don't like to be recognized as the president because I need to be invisible. I'm one of those leaders that like to be invisible totally all the time, any place, anywhere, unless I'm really called to be speaking or evaluating or doing a role. So that's my request to the club. As you've known, in every other club that I've been in, that has been the same request. One person shouldn't be in the limelight all the time, ever. And that's the sort of leader that I am. So I like to work behind the scenes and do everything. Having said that, however, I've got something exciting for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready to hear some news?
Oh, wow.
We've broken the barrier. We are over 700. 1,000 now is possible. This was the hump we were looking for. It is exactly 2 weeks away. 300 more. Actually, it should be more than 300, but 300 more would put 1,000 on the register. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for every one of you putting in effort, whoever you were. There's a huge ambassador team that's happening on WhatsApp. Join that team if you're not on that team, especially if you're in this club. You ought to be in that, and encourage people from all over the world are in the ambassador team. There's over 60, 65 people, and people are every day joining and saying, I want to be an ambassador. I want to create that 15-second video. So if people from all over the world are excited, our club should be even more excited. 701, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for putting in the effort. Thank you, Hannah, for putting in a lot of effort here. And of course, the main person who's actually been putting in a lot of effort is Mariana Burka. She's working on the project tirelessly, as well as making sure our club meetings happen as well. She's like, she's a God sent, she's a goddess. So whenever you meet her, please thank her for how our club is running, what's going on in the project as well. Thank you, Mariana, very much from the bottom of my heart. And back to you, Madam Chair. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. 701. What a magic figure. We'll definitely hit the 1,000 and more. And with this, I declare this meeting to close. I unfortunately haven't got a gavel, but it's closed. Thank you.